I have had a special request to talk about my Heckel journey. I mentioned this in a video past. I don't even remember which video. What video did I talk about it? Oh! Hi guys! I am back to talk to you about the journey of finding my Heckel Bassoon. This was a requested video by you guys, the viewers, after my 50 facts about me. And also my last haul where I talked about finding my Heckel Bassoon, that it was a bit of a journey. And people have asked to know more about that journey and also about the repair that the instrument required. So let's go ahead and dig in. It took me about 10 years to find my Heckel Bassoon. I had been scouring any place I could find a Heckel. So all the big instrument brokers online, calling repairmen and saying, hey, I'm in the market, please let me know if you find or have anything, and then just trying every instrument I could get my hands on. So I tried a lot. I would say between 15 and 20 instruments. I did try out, see if they would work, and to be quite honest, it wasn't until the last instrument that I tried and ended up buying that I found one that could actually outperform my Puchner. And this is a bit of importance that I think is part of this video that should be included. I played on a lot of different bassoons throughout the years. I've owned several different types. When I was in Oregon and studying in my first couple of years of college as well at Indiana, I played on a Fox 201, and it was a fantastic instrument. From there I went to a Puchner custom model, and that one I still own to this day and use it as a backup instrument because my Heckel in the extreme humidity of Alabama has the tendency to get stuck together. Not gonna lie, there was a little bit where I had to call the repairman in Canada and say, please help, my instrument is stuck due to thunderstorms last year when it arrived back due to just the adjustments after having had so much done to it. So I will say that I played on all of those instruments. I've also played on some really great Schreibers. I mean, I could go on and on about all the different instruments. I will say that the Fox 201 offered me great intonation, great colors, but when I went to the Puchner, I found greater flexibility and more colors. So it did offer a little bit more of a challenge, but with that challenge created more colors. And the same was true when I switched from my Puchner to my Heckel. So not everybody needs a Heckel, and I will say that some of those other instruments in other ways outperformed what a lot of the Heckels that I was trying on the market. What am I trying to say? Just because you're buying a Heckel doesn't mean that you're buying the best instrument. There are a lot of Heckels out there that are finicky and that have notes on them that are so out of tune, they're just not even fun to play. So just because it says Heckel doesn't mean it's a better instrument, and I have played a lot of them on the market, and that's part of why it took me so long to find an instrument, is because I was looking for a Heckel that could outperform the other professional model instruments that I had been playing. That being said, okay, why did I need the Heckel? For me, I've been doing a lot of gigging, a lot of playing professionally with orchestras, some of the bigger orchestras. All of the professional players are playing Heckel. They're looking for an instrument that matches their distinct color and sound. So there was that bit that I needed the Heckel in some ways to be able to fit with the orchestra sections that I'm playing with. So it was on the agenda for my professional playing career. Okay, so where did I find the instrument? In the end, the instrument that I did find came from Charles W. Reed. I saw it on the internet, and this is, I mean, I saw it, I think, within hours of it being posted, because I was stalking. I was internet stalking every bassoon instrument that was out there. And I said, yes, please, let me try it. I was put on the list of people to try it, and I think it was about 2 months later that I got an email saying, are you still interested in this instrument, because it has not been purchased. For me, I had a moment of, why has this instrument not been purchased? Is it not any good? But I thought, okay, just go ahead, try it, let's see what happens. So they shipped me the instrument, and it needed a lot of work. I mean, they told me it needed work, but there's a difference when you see it firsthand. There were rods and keys that just didn't attach to anything. And it wasn't, usually the key mechanisms that should attach to one another. These were key mechanisms that had been added on that just didn't go anywhere. And there were pads falling off. And that was only the things that you could see like visually just in sitting down to play it. So it did need a lot of work. Charles Double Reed had the instrument from a gentleman in the north who had retired and had recently passed away, and his family was liquidating the assets, and they wanted it to go to a good home. So they were aware that yes, it hadn't been played a lot recently, and it did need some work. I will say, as soon as I started playing it though, I was in love. When it's right, it's just right. It was even, just in that beginning stages, I could feel that I could do what I wanted to do. My family are all musicians, so they, of course, had heard every instrument that I was trying, and I did contact them and say, okay, listen to this, and tell me what you think, and every single one of them was just like, that's it. That is the first instrument we have heard that has outperformed your Puchner. So that was it. Decided to purchase it, even though I knew that it was going to need a lot of work. From there, I sent it to Canada, to Marcus Wheeler, and I will say that they are fantastic there. I will leave their information in the description box if you have an instrument that needs an extensive amount of repairs, as mine did. And they helped me also with the shipping and getting it through customs, making sure that it's insured, because you don't want to just send it abroad with your homeowner's insurance. That being said, all musicians should have great instrument insurance. So I will link to Clarion Insurance down below. I also did a blog post for anyone who is looking to ship their instruments on everything that I did to make sure that it arrived safely. So I will link that in the description box down below. So lots of assets there for you if you're interested. The instrument. It took over 6 months to get all of the work done, and that is not a reflection on Marcus Wheeler. I know they had some other jobs come in that they needed to take care of, and I totally respect that. They did exactly what was needing to be done, because my instrument came back fantastic. And it was not like I just sent my bassoon to the spa, which is the way I wanted to look at it. No, I mean, it needed like open heart surgery, to say the least. First off, the boot joint had a crack in it, which is a 10,000 series Heckel that I purchased, so that's very normal that those would have a crack in it, so that had to be repaired. All of the tone holes were metal lined, but the linings were coming loose, which is a good thing in this case because they were seated too high and it was throwing the intonation off. So all of those had to be redone on the entire instrument. Pads, of course, had to be replaced. The part where my heart just sunk and I really felt like I was at Vegas gambling on this instrument was when they called to tell me that somebody underneath the A pad had decided to try to alter the sound, and they'd taken a drill and drilled a hole in it, but the drill had slipped and they had to do repair work on that. And that was about the same time they called me to tell me there was rot in the boot joint. And because I'd never been through any of this before, there were some deep breaths that were had, to say the least. But what they did is they did a tube lining, and that helped with both those. So be careful with rot of your instrument. The instrument is older in this case, and when I was talking to Shane Wheeler, he was telling me that it's not if the instrument is going to rot, it's when, especially with non-lined tubes. So for those of you who have the newer instruments, you're probably going to be okay, but that was something that I definitely had to take care of. While the instrument was abroad, it also had the law that was passed in the United States about Ivory it passed overnight, and it's fantastic for the animals, but it meant that the bell cap, because mine actually is ivory on the instrument, I was lucky enough to have gotten it out before the law passed because, I mean, nobody knew the law was going into effect. And then I got the call of, what are we going to do, because we can't ship your bell back to you. And it's not one of those where, I mean, they could just sneak it back or something. The bill as it passed went through that, the law as it passed said that if you were caught with the ivory, it was a criminal offense and it was jail time. So my bassoon was then stuck due to that, and we had to special order an ivorine, which is plastic bell cap for the top. And then this allows me so that I can travel abroad with paperwork showing that this is not ivory without a lot of the fear. But the problem is that means that my bell cap, the original, that's just going to stay in Canada, because this girl cannot pull off Orange is the New Black. I mean, those girls are, I love the show, but those girls are tough. So that happened too. Those are the bulk of the repairs that I had done. I did have some extra extension keys put on, which I'm absolutely in love with. I will do a video on that if you are interested. But the bassoon, as it has come back, has been an absolute dream. I have never been happier. I do play on reeds that are 2 to 3 millimeters shorter than any that I had played before on my Puchner. So I do have specific reeds for each instrument that I make. And I did end up purchasing another vocal to go with it so that it gives me that versatility of sound that I've been looking for. So if you want a video on accessories, be sure to leave me a comment, and also leave me a comment on what instruments you guys are playing, because I know what my students are bringing in, and I demo on any instrument that is handed to me for a video, but I'd love to hear what you guys are playing, because there are some amazing instruments out on the market, and there's just so much to be had these days. It's not just like buy a brand name and that's it. So I'd love to hear what you're playing on. If you liked this, give this a thumbs up. And if you want to make sure that you never miss a future video, or if you have any future video ideas, do leave me a comment. But if you don't want to miss them, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Now, I live in the South, and in the South it is so humid that my knives in the summer in my bassoon case can rust unless I'm doing some kind of a moisture barrier in between the air and the actual metal of the knife. It played, the intonation, the pitch, it was fantastic. There wasn't a lot of work involved, but then I wanted more. Why are you turning on? I just turned you off. I hate you, air conditioning system. I turned you off.